Finally, in Lecture 3, we will deal with the Code of Conduct of SAIFM. We'll deal with the main and integrity principles. Now we'll talk about the Code of Conduct by the South African Institute of Financial Markets. So a lot of people subscribe to the SAIFM, stockbrokers, etc., and they have certain principles. So firstly, the main principles dealing with the Code of Conduct is that a market participant conducts him or herself with integrity, dignity. They act in an ethical manner with all their dealings with publics, clients, employers, employees, and fellow financial market participants. Because at the end of the day, you want to show that you can be trusted with people's money and that the financial market in South Africa can be trusted. You also need to act with the proper skill, care, diligence, and exercise independent professional judgment in all professional dealings. So when you become a market participant, you obviously have to meet certain criteria that allows you to exercise this type of judgment. So you need to know something about financial markets. I will go through these in a bit of detail later as well. The market participant gives full and accurate information to clients at all times. They act with competence and strive to maintain and improve their competence. So how do you maintain and improve competence? Remember, you have CPD points, which is continued professional development. So in a year, you have to get a certain number of CPD points, and you get these by attending lectures and talks and learning about the new regulations and what's happening in the financial market. So you need to ensure that you get a certain number of points per year. The financial market participant needs to maintain knowledge of applicable laws, rules and regulations, and government policies. So generally you'll go to a talk when a new law is released so you can understand how that law works, or you will research it yourself. Then it says a financial market participant shall not knowingly participate in, assist, or withhold knowledge of any acts in violation of any law, rule, or ethical code governing the profession, financial or business activities. Now we'll be specifically discussing integrity principles with regards to the codes of conduct. So the first one is independence. So that means the ability to act and to be seen to be act with integrity and objectively. So this is fundamental to the relationship between the market participants and the client, as well as with the public as well. You need to always exercise good judgment and maintain the independence, so not be biased in any way. And you cannot claim that you're independent unless you take reasonable care to make sure that you're independent. So it is essential that your opinions are made without any bias or personal and economic considerations. Another integrity principle is that of inducements. So you may not solicit or accept any gift or inducement directly or indirectly which is designed to influence your actions, because this may detriment a client. So if a client gives you an expensive bottle of wine because you have performed so well for them, if you perform badly, would you receive that gift as well? Knowing that one client gave a gift over another, would you perform better towards the client that gave a gift than the one that did not? So this doesn't apply if the inducement is remuneration, which is paid in money in pursuit to an agreement. So if there is a contract where you pay a remuneration, that is not an inducement. An inducement is designed to influence the actions for personal gain of the person who gave it, and this can be detrimental to clients. Next, we look at overcharging. So you need to be fair and reasonable in the amount that you charge. So you may not charge more than your rightful commission. You can also charge transaction costs and service charges, but you may not overcharge. Here is that word churning again. You may not buy or sell contracts without the exercise of discretion for a client, or advise an investor to buy or sell contracts with the intention of maximizing commissions. So this is overtrading or churning, where your client's performance is a secondary consideration. So because you are earning a commission, you trade more on that portfolio and you don't really have regard for the performance of the actual portfolio. Insider trading we did in detail in week 2 and 3, you can remember. A financial market participant cannot, and it talks about intention and negligence, seek to profit from insider trading or assist anyone with such unpublished price-sensitive information. So if you acquire such information as a result of your relationship with your client, you may not communicate the information. You may also not take investment action on such information. If, however, you acquire such information outside of a client relationship, you are ethically and morally, you need to then make sure that you do not communicate or act upon this inside information at all. If there's a breach of duty, you must take steps to disseminate such information. So it talks about front running. So a market participant cannot conduct himself in a way where his transactions take priority over a client. So if a client phones with knowledge about a trade, he may not trade based on that for his own personal gain. Preservation of confidentiality. Anything communicated by the client within the scope of that relationship needs to remain confidential, obviously with the exception of illegal activities that must be reported. Misrepresentation of services. You may not make statements orally or in writing that misrepresent any of these things. The services that you're capable of performing, the qualifications that you have, the performance that you could accomplish or that can be reasonably expected from the client, or the expected performance of the investment. So you need to be very careful when you are making statements. You cannot tell your clients specifically what type of percentage you can get them on their investment. So you need to kind of make a rough figure, base it on historical data, and then you need to say that past performance is based on that future performance is based on past performance. So you need to evidence everything you say as well. Conflicts of interest, this comes up all the time. You need to be vigilant and identify actual or potential conflicts of interest, and you can't allow yourself to be placed in a position where a conflict could arise. Professional misconduct. You may not commit any crime, and if you commit a crime that material reflects on your honesty, trustworthiness, or fitness, you can no longer be involved in a financial services position. So it talks about the types of crime involving dishonesty, fraud, or representation. These are generally financial crimes that would prevent you from taking part.